Welcome to the fantasy draft room, and we are back for another underdog draft here. We have a BBM4 draft on tap, and we are actually in the 2 slot again. This time, I think did we have the 1 for you or 2 for you last time? I can't remember now.
Believe we had the 1 overall. Believe
That's
we
right, you
got
had
it. We
Jets.
got the Justin Jefferson one on that one. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, since we're waiting here, we got 30 seconds before we're up here. I just want to plan it out. It seems like it's a Jamar Chase or any reason you'd want to take Tyreek Hill here or maybe Cooper Kupp or CMC.
I mean, I can fully see it still being Tyreek Hill. I know you absolutely love him. Say he's going to
I
go for
do.
2,000 yards and trash my projections for only having it 1,400. But
Yep.
so I know you have the love there, but it would depend on me. Maybe if I have too many Jamar Chase shares already in Underdog, that I might try to pivot off and go Tyreek, just mix it up a little bit. But I would still lean Chase over Tyreek if it's just in a vacuum.
Yeah, I know I have quite a few Jamar Chases, but it's so hard for me to go away from him.
It's a
I think,
tough one to pass up, man.
yeah, I think I have to take him. And this, what's he got? A week 7? Week 7 by? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. All right, so now we got 22 picks. Let's go take a break here and come back. And
Yeah, we'll be back on the other side after this commercial break from your sponsors.
and well, while we're at it, if you haven't heard, Destination Devi has partnered with Underdog Fantasy for the upcoming season. So if you do use promo code TFDR at sign up, you will get up to a $100 deposit match on your first deposit. Plus, if you do deposit $10 or more, you will get 1 year access to the Destination Devi Discord, where it is hands down the best place to be in fantasy. So we got a few picks off here, nothing too crazy. When we're looking at this, you've gone through projections, kind of looked at the ADP. I know we've kind of looked at some different ways to kind of break this down. I have a tough time after going through a bunch of these drafts, taking anything but wide receiver early. Like Kelsey's about the only exception. And it's like, I want to double tap wide receiver if I possibly can, just because it gets really scary if you kind of miss out on those early ones.
If I'm taking one of the early running backs, if I'm taking a CMC, if I'm taking an Eckler, if I'm taking a Jonathan Taylor, Saquon, it's the only one I'm taking for probably the first 5 rounds. And I'm just hammering wide receiver after that, or maybe a wide receiver and an elite quarterback or tight end. It just dries up so quickly outside of running back, which just tends to always make itself seem super replaceable later in the drafts. All of the Underdog ADP is also showing that, where the wide receivers are just getting pushed up way higher and way higher. And it's been going along that trend as we get further into these best ball manias. It's incredibly difficult, in my opinion, just like you said, to pick the running back early and try to hammer down that position without just sacrificing everything you have at wide receiver.
And the big thing here is looking at some of the ADP that we have up. The next pick that we have is going to be at that 23 slot, and then 26 after the turn. So in that range, like Devonta Smith is going at 20.6, long shot potentially, unless we get the quarterback run. But we're looking at Devonta Smith, Tony Pollard, T. Higgins. So it's like, do you really want the Jamar Chase, T. Higgins combo? Otherwise, it's Derrick Henry, Ramondre. It's a bunch of running backs. According to ADP. Obviously, if I wanted to reach for wide receiver a little bit further down, you have DK, Calvin Ridley, Deebo Samuel, Amari Cooper, and none of which I feel are really worthy of a late second round pick at this point. So it's tough at this route.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're looking there, the running back that I always see whenever you're early in that second round turn, the 2-3 turn, is Derrick Henry. If he's
Yeah,
there, I
man.
just always go back to him or Josh Jacobs to start off that running back. The other one, if I'm a little bit later and I want to pass a little bit, is Brees Hall. I think he's still really depressed in value just because people don't think he's going to be coming back early from the injury. But I do agree that we're looking at the wide receivers of Olave, Smitty, and T. And then I kind of want the running back to complement the first 2 wide receivers that you're hopefully able to take there at that turn.
And as you see kind of what has happened here in the first round, you had, the only non-wide receivers that have come off the board are CMC, Kelsey, Eckler, and Bijan. And that is through the first 15 picks. We had, what, four? Four total? So Yeah, if you're, it's kind of nice if you're towards the back end, you get two of them, but at the same time, you miss out on some other players. So I feel like the ADP is shifted. There we go. So now we got a quarterback reach. We saw Patrick Mahomes go at 17. And so that leaves us with an opportunity to see a Devonta Smith slide or Chris Olave.
Yeah, you're looking at Chris Olave goes off the board here. So 4 picks in between us with really only 2 of the wide receivers. I do think the fall off is pretty hard after the T. Higgins pick because you do go into DK Metcalf and lower at that point. Do you have any concerns about leaning into the stack too heavily and having to try to push yourself to try to take a Joe Burrow if that were the case here and T. Higgins does fall off the next 3 picks?
Are you saying take Burrow early?
Do you worry about having to reach on Burrow to try to make it? Like, would you even consider him here at the 3-2 just to force yourself to have the stack of all 3?
I would consider it. I just don't know. Like, I guess that's the thing is like, is it really worth it to have all 3? Like, I guess we don't have to worry about it now.
Don't have to worry about it though. We can answer that question on a different show.
Okay, well, now we are up. I'm looking at Derrick Henry and Ramondre Stevenson. My only reason I'm actually leaning Ramondre is because of the week 7 buys and just kind of having a little bit of variance there at that position. I have a ton of exposure to good old Derrick Henry. So I know it's not necessarily the popular play, but hey, maybe they're going to get some passing down work. I'm going to go with Ramondre here and just kind of put the stamp rule on that one. So now would you consider taking Burrow? Do you think it'd be worth the reach of having, I mean, where is Joey Buckets going at?
He's too far down, man. It's too far of a reach to go to pick 45. You're going to be coming back around here in 23 picks. Yeah, I would just try to see if he falls there. If not, we're dropping things off my screen. If not, then we'll just leave that one down and go unlight filtered for a bit here for y'all. But let's try to make this pick as we try to regain ourselves. I think it's between a Josh Jacobs or DK Metcalf for me.
I'm gonna roll with DK here. We had old Mason Q13 take Calvin Ridley a wee bit early, in my opinion. I would love to double tap. I'm not going to lie. I'd love to double tap the running back position here. This is a lot of what I've been doing when I've been drafting from the 2 slot is I would end up with Jamar Chase or Tyreek Hill at the 2. And then I would double tap, Derrick Henry. Nick Chubb for a while was going in that range. Josh Jacobs, all of these guys that I have in the queue or I had listed. So I wanted a little bit of variance. I don't have a ton of DK. While I'm not super optimistic that DK is going to have a monster season, I know he can have monster games, and he has that week 5 bye, which not a lot of players are going to have as we get into that round 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 range. Usually we see a ton of week 13, 14 type buys in that range.
Yeah, I do believe there's only 2 teams on that first week bye, which absolutely sucks for NFL teams that you didn't have to go through a gauntlet of the next 13 weeks in a row. But it is a more lucrative bye because there's not as many teams there, and you can fill out the rest of your wide receiver core a lot easier at that point. I would say, as we're here and have a little bit of time, if you could scroll out just a little bit so we can see the entirety of, or zoom out just a bit, just so we can see the entirety of the roster board on the right.
Absolutely. Let's see here. If it lets me. There we go.
Or maybe it was zoom in. My bad.
There we are.
Wrong way. But here we go. We've got the Ramondre Stevenson, Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf. Love the 2 wide receivers as we start off. And we've raised some concerns on this show about DK, but in the end, I think he has as good of a chance, if not better, than some of those guys that he was going around to produce at that top 12 wide receiver level. If everything does click right for him there, he just has a little bit more competition this year with the other 2 wide receivers, JSN and Tyler Lockett, still hanging around.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing with DK. Like when we talk about it in terms of overall production, yeah, he's probably going to be a wide receiver too. I don't foresee him having some sort of standout season where he is just the wide receiver 1, not only on that team, but in cracking the top 12. So he's going to be a wide receiver too, and all I'm banking on is him having some big time weeks. Whether that's a 10 catch game where he gets a touchdown or two, and I want those lineup cracks. Like that's it. You give me some good pop weeks from DK, maybe a couple floor weeks here and there that just get in the lineup. That's all I'm looking for. And to be honest with you, the more I think about this, that week 5 bye is actually going to be kind of helpful for my overall roster, because as I do get later into this, or we do get later into this, I think it's going to be the one thing that kind of helps him or helps me with the roster construction aspect of it. Because
we always get to that week 13. I think it's 10 and 13 are those two brutal ones that every time you're like, oh, that's a nice dart throw wide receiver. Week 13 bye, week 10 bye, and it just stacks and stacks on top of each other. And
and as we're looking here, because our next pick range is 4750, so we're looking at Justin Fields is in that range, Joe Burrow, DJ Moore, and Christian Kirk are the ones that I'm kind of looking at right now. But again, you're talking DJ Moore week 13 bye, TJ Hawkinson even week 13 bye. So there's quite a few in that range. Mike Williams just came off; he was another week 5. But Terry McLaurin, as much as I love him, week 14 sucks.
The week 14 does hurt a pretty good amount, but the Joe Burrow and Christian Kirk, the two that you have highlighted there, are the ones that immediately stick out to me as well. I'd be fine going with a Terry, assuming as you don't have any of your wide receivers on a playoff bye yet. And so if you just have one, I don't think it's the worst thing you can do. I think it definitely suppresses his value a little bit in this format. So I think you do get a little bit of a value that can help you push into even just making the playoffs, because I think people get so fixated on the playoffs in Underdog sometimes, and especially Best Ball Mania, that sometimes we lose focus of like, we do still have to get there. And it just takes 1 week to get through that 1 week of week 14 that you just need one other player to pop to fill the position. I'm okay with sitting on the week 14 bye. DeAndre Hopkins being up here before he's even signed is a little bit interesting still, but I think we'll get some resolution on that in the next couple of weeks. I don't foresee that one coming soon.
It makes me a little curious though, like if he is available here. I mean, DJ Moore just got taken, which I'm actually really happy about. I didn't want to have to make that decision. And we got 4 picks between us here. So ETN, Hopkins, Judy, and McLaurin are the next projected ones to go off. I kind of hope, okay, good, we got a Fields reach. And man, if we can get Burrow here, there's no way I'm
I think you go. No, the team in between us does have a quarterback already, though, so I would not go with Burrow. I would take the risk that he's not going to pick 2 quarterbacks in the turn there, I would just go with a wide receiver.
Absolutely right. All right, come on, guys. Chi-Town. Oh, so he was hoping. He was hoping Fields was going to be there.
Fields and the DJ Moore got picked off.
Both of them
too, as he's 3 running backs deep with that build and has to settle for Jerry Jeudy.
Love to see it. So Travis Etienne here is a tiny bit interesting. Both of us aren't exactly high on him. Love to see it.
There he goes anyway. Love to see it. Take that, Kirky.
Yeah, I think I got to take Christian Kirk. I like Terry McLaurin and all, but I'm taking Christian Kirk here, and I'm not even going to think twice about it.
I could also argue for Brandon Ayuk, but that's a different subject.
Yeah, I'm all right. Come on, don't double tap quarterback. Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
I love this start so far, man.
Absolutely love it, man. If you can complete the stack here with Chase, this looks absolutely beautiful. He's still missing a running back, doesn't have one through the first 4 rounds, 5 rounds if he passes on one here. Come on, shouldn't be any reason that you're not getting it. Takes another wide receiver, though, and still goes running back list through the first 5 rounds, giving us Joe Burrow to complete the Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase stack.
We talk about this a lot. There's the theory of getting 7 wide receivers through the first 10 rounds. And I believe it's 5 through 8. So like 9 and 10, basically, you're getting wide receiver. But this guy here, I mean, look, you got Justin Jefferson, Calvin Ridley, Terry McLaurin, and Chris Godwin, all with different buys, which is great. But it's a nice wide receiver room to have, especially for best ball. And then you have his quarterback of Jalen Hurts, and that's got to feel really good. But so does Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, Christian Kirk, and Ramondre Stevenson. I actually really like how this team has panned out. Got the stack that I wanted. I'm trying to think, is it Kansas City, Cincinnati is the Week 17 game stack for this year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. I can look those up for you while you go.
Okay. Yeah, so we got pick 71 and 74 are the next ADP range. A lot of people like to upload their rankings into Underdog. I totally get the idea for it and why people do it. There's something to playing what the board is kind of leaving me based on ADP. As you get later in rounds, it does change things. I think once you get into like that round 12 and beyond, at that point, it doesn't really matter. Use your rankings at that point because there's going to be so much variance with the ADP and what the community thinks or what the world thinks that it's not that big of a deal. So I am looking 71, 74. I'm not going to get Deontay. So that's going to be like Cam Akers, Kadarius Toney, Kansas City. So there's
That
the
would be
Kansas
your
City game
case.
stack.
It is the KC Cincinnati game for Week 17.
Okay. And who does? I guess we'll see. I'm gonna wait and see. I don't know if I really care about who does New England play Week 17.
New England's got Buffalo.
Who? Okay.
So really though, like I don't know what player you're taking other than like you do have the Gabe Davis. Hit on the Gabe Davis. You could hit on possibly a Kincaid at tight end if you want to go that route and bet on the Rook. Other than that, though, you're obviously not getting Josh Allen. The running backs really don't matter all that much to me, and no other wide receiver but those two matter.
It's so they're not necessarily special by any stretch of the imagination, but Juju's going in, I believe, in that 105 range, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 105.6. So Juju would be one I could get. So I could have Ramondre, Juju potentially, Gabe Smith or Gabe Davis to go along with that, Kadarius Toney in that same range. Again, is it the best roster construction, the best way to build? We'll see what's on the board. But just looking game stack wise, just wanted to kind of get some ideas of what those two kind of games look like. And I would imagine a New England Buffalo game is going to be high scoring, but
those two can get into some absolute slugfest though that are just basically on the ground. You've got one of the two up there. They're at Buffalo in December 31st. Like, what's the weather like going to be up there at that time as well? It has to be a factor. May not be the best of conditions, and maybe more of a fist fight there than what you really want in terms of airing the ball out.
Yeah, and that's very true. And maybe, I mean, I'm sure Mixon's got to be at 52. Oh no, he's been taken. Dang it! All right, I was curious. Maybe I had the ground game.
Redraft still likes them some Joe Mixon, even though he's dead over in Dynasty landscapes for us.
Yeah. Where's James Cook at? Let's see why I think James Cook is going to do anything in particular for me, but you never know. We are 5 picks away. Okay, let's clear this. Let's see what's on the actual board here. Kyle Pitts is a little interesting. I don't know if Goddard. We'll see. Let's see what actually pops up here.
The Miles Sanders one, if he's still there, I think is got to be a pick for me over Cam Akers even.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna look at that one. I mean, I don't mind having multiple week 7 buys. Does not matter anymore, unfortunately. But any shot, I mean, might be crazy. I might be that guy. But taking T-Law here and double stacking Christian Kirk and Trevor Lawrence, maybe I could do that.
Oh man, if you do, you're full punting tight end.
Yeah,
if you do it, you're full punting the tight end. I personally would not recommend it. If you're looking at the week 17, they're playing Carolina. You could also go for the triple with the tight end stack and Evan Ingram late. Don't mind that. I still would probably lean with Akers and Toney here for your picks, but if you want to go T-Law, I could not fight you on it, but I would say you would have to punt your tight end position for a while.
We're gonna get wild.
All right, let's do her.
We're gonna get wild. We're gonna take T-Law here, just to do something a little different. I don't have to touch quarterback anymore at all. Like, there's no need.
It. Never again. Just take it off the board.
Yeah, so I got 2 stacks here. If you don't mind looking for me, who does Jacksonville have week 17? Carolina. Okay. Woof.
That's nothing on the other side that you really want there.
So Cam Akers, is it worth taking Kadarius Toney here? Gabe Davis. I mean, Goddard fell here. I just the idea of taking Ingram later kind of makes sense, but what are your thoughts here?
I'd probably lean with Tony here out of anybody, just to take the upside shot that he is a Kansas City wide receiver one. They haven't had it for a little bit. Definitely didn't have it last year, but if he can take over that role as wide receiver one, I'd take the upside shot with Tony over all these other guys who I think are wide receiver twos.
I made an executive decision that I totally forgot about, and I'm so sorry to do that to you. As I was about to click Kadarius Toney, I forgot that Dalvin Cook was still around, and the fact that Dalvin Cook is sitting there for me is just insane. So I am so sorry that I did that to you, because yes, I had the same mindset. I just, my feelings on Tony, and
I have the same feelings. I don't really think it's going to happen, but I'd take the upside shot in underdog best ball. That's
yeah, I
the
think
one.
that would have been the correct play, and just kind of let Ramondre roll. I kind of regret the decision already. Dude, I have such a hard time passing on Dalvin Cook here. Like, I know he doesn't have a team at this very moment in time, but I don't see a world in which that man is not the RB1 on whatever team he goes to, and where he's not getting a sizable workload that is going to warrant,
It's the landscape though, man. Like I just don't know
yeah.
where he plugs in, and he's not at least just a 1A, 1B instead of what he was every time we saw him in Minnesota. I don't think he ever really gets back to that just workhorse role level that we really saw him have there over the course of his time. Like, where's the best spot? Is it like Tampa Bay and you still have Rashad White? I think that's one of them.
Dallas, man.
Dallas, but then you're still just taking a Zeke role. Like Tony Pollard is not going to go away either.
And I'm okay with that. I think the whole thing for Dalvin is to have, can you get 220 to 250 carries on the ground? I don't think he's going to be a target monster. He never really was. Can he catch? Absolutely. But like, that would be a prime spot. But you're all right. Denver has talked to him, and Denver absolutely could use a running back. I know Javonte is still there, but the ACL recovery process, what that actually is going to look like. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I wish I would have taken Kadarius Toney, but just the sight of seeing Dalvin Cook sitting here in the 8th or the
Oh,
late 7th round, I'm pulling the
I
plug.
know Dalvin always gets your blood pumping.
He
It's just
does,
like Alvin
man.
Kamara for you. You just see it and you get reminded of the old times and the times that we've seen over the past 7 years. And goodness,
Uh,
it's
I
just it's hard for me to pass up too, though. Like fully admitting it. It is incredibly hard to pass up those vets that you've just seen smash year over year over year. You're taking the same risk that I think, like in that pick, you're taking risk that Kadarius Toney turns into a wide receiver one for the Kansas City Chiefs. You're taking the same risk that Dalvin Cook lands with a significant role in an opportunity where he has that touch opportunity to get to the 240, 260 touches. It's just whichever bet you want to make. You already had 3 wide receivers. I don't mind it.
Yeah, I do like the 3 wide receivers I have. As I mentioned earlier, usually the mindset is 7 wide receivers in 10 rounds. I'm definitely not getting that at this point. And to be honest with you, if Evan Ingram is sitting here at 95, I'm going to have a really hard time passing on that. And
What's the
then
wide receiver look like on the turn? As
Juju.
as I fully agree with the Evan Ingram take.
Juju. It would be Jamison Williams. So just looking at wide receiver in this range, JMO, Juju, Boyd, Odell, Sky Moore. I mean, but all of those are much later ADP. Like, truly, I'm looking at JMO, Juju, and Boyd. I think Juju's probably the right play.
Yeah, I'd end up going with an Ingram Juju. I don't even really want to take both of those. I don't want to take 2 wide receivers out of that anyway, so I might as well just spend up and take the high tight end. Even though I said that we were punting it, I don't like any of the wide receivers. So
Yeah.
I think I'd just lean into Juju here.
I am looking James Cook here as well. Like, James Cook, again, Buffalo. It doesn't seem like they're bringing in anybody else. Oh my God. Juju just got snagged right in front of me.
That's a tough one.
Homie has, yeah, man. Okay. Pivot. I think I have to take James Cook here, or Tyler Boyd. I can't. I just double stacking it, man. I'm taking James Cook. Last thoughts.
I could see Boyd just for the stack, for the additional stack. I'd actually probably go Boyd, but Did we get it?
I don't know. It gave me James Cook. I was like
Okay.
patiently waiting. I'm like, uh-oh. Well, all right, there we go. We got the Cook brothers filling out the running back room. So now I absolutely need to
You're
look.
just going to be hammering wide receiver for about the next 6 rounds, and they're all going to suck.
And they're all gonna suck. This is one of those that I should, if I would have taken Kadarius Toney, that James Cook pick would have been perfectly fine. But that is what happens. And now I'm with 3 wide receivers. I like the team. I do. It's just shallow. Like I am hoping and praying for some sort of wide receiver value or hit here at 119 and 122. Um, Man, I'm gonna just throw everyone in the queue here that has a
Literally everybody
pulse.
everybody that has the orange tag on them. I don't know how you see it, but it is orange tag. Yeah, like Jacoby Myers, Odell. I'd take the upside swing on Odell actually not being total dust. Oh,
Oh my god,
yep.
this is just brutal. What did I do?
All of them are gonna suck.
What did you let me do, Cody?
Hey,
Oh
I mean,
man,
the timer ran out on us on that Tyler Boyd. I did
that
say
that
to
was
go with
me.
that Boyd.
I swung and missed twice on wide receivers here. One I let go, and the other one I didn't click in time. So, that's part of the beast, though. So I still, like I said, I still like the team, and if I can salvage it in some way, shape, or form here, um, uh, that's my go-to guy. This is what we
Oh,
were talking about earlier.
dude.
All these week 13 buys. Just look at all of these. Like week 13, week 13. You mentioned 10 earlier as well. 13, 10, all over the
All of
place.
the guys that we personally like as dart throws are all of the week
True.
13 guys.
Yep.
Like there's a lot of other guys that you
7.
can take, but every single one you're like, ooh, I like that name. Week 13 buy or a week 10 buy, week 7 buy. Those are the 3 main ones, and every single time it seems like they're on that.
I know these are not in ADP order, and none of you can actually see what is behind our faces, but I basically have thrown a bunch of wide receivers in here and just kind of writing out, hoping and praying for some sort of miraculous turnaround here on this draft. I mean, it's not awful, but
Can
I
we
need some
check?
depth.
Did that? Are we at the top of the board? Did that Tyler Boyd already go off? Hey, Tyler Boyd's still hanging around. Maybe if he falls an entire 2 rounds of ADP.
6 picks away. It's actually not out of possibility here.
Come on, Boyd. Come on, Boyd. Let's drop an entire turn, an entire like 22 picks.
You see the quarterback starting to come off, so this is usually that range where everyone grabs a QB, and I got 2.
You're looking at the quarterback and the tight ends. Yeah, you're pushing them up the board because you did take 2. And as soon as we start talking about it, it's why do I keep doing it? I always try to will it into existence, and it always just turns out to never work.
That's all right. I mean, in all honesty, in this range here, Odell, I'd probably take Sky. Ugh. Maybe I don't take Sky Moore. It feels so gross. But Jacoby Myers would be one, and there goes Odell. Yep, just like we had talked about. Don't talk about him.
Yep.
Keep my mouth
Bring
shut.
up the won't bring up the one, but he potentially is a wide receiver too in a Las Vegas based team. That's probably the one that I was thinking of first.
Same.
As of this point, it was going to be OBJ and that one. So yeah, I think after that though, whew,
I just can't have the stack of Zay Jones with having Ingram and Christian Kirk.
that is too much exposure into that offense for my liking.
Agreed. I do think I'm looking at the two week 13 buys here. Okay. I know I'm taking Jacoby Myers. That is the one you were talking about. I think it's a good spot for him. Connected with his old offensive coordinator in McDaniel. So I just don't know what to do at this next pick. Like Mooney.
If you want to lean into the week 17 with the Chiefs, we weren't able to. We didn't take Tony. You could take Sky and take that shot. I dislike it, but it might be the highest upside swing out of any of these guys.
Ugh. 32 total points last year. I just don't know that I can do it, man. But he's week 10.
Other than that, I'd be Mooney, Dobbs, or Nico.
I'm gonna go Sky. I'm gonna do it.
You do also have Rasheed Rice coming back potentially to you on the turn. He's
Don't care.
10 wide receivers
Maybe
down. Okay.
maybe we'll take them both. There's a shot we take them both. Kansas City's an offense that I'm happy to have a few pieces of the darts because no one knows, not even the Chiefs know which one's going to hit other than Kelsey. So at this point, it's anybody's guess whether that's Sky Moore, Rasheed Rice, Kadarius Toney. I mean, MVS is still in the building. Like, sure, give me any of them. I'll just take a warm body in that offense that can crack the lineup. And he's week 10, so
Right.
another variance in the position.
More than likely, what's going to happen is exactly like last year, where it's Travis Kelsey and a hodgepodge week to week of whoever else is there.
So I know we're still backfilling wide receiver, but we also have to look at a late round tight end. I like Ingram, so I'm good there. So I do want one more tight end, but I'm going to go for a 2 quarterback, 2 tight end, and then I need to fill out running back depth. Absolute must going on from here. Is this the point where I can start looking at running back again now that I have 5 wide receivers?
I think you're to a pretty flat tier at the wide receiver position, so I don't think it really matters if you do take a gap here. Once you get to this like 11, 12 range, really the wide receiver doesn't matter that much. It's going to be a shot on any one of them you take. And so I'm fine with leaning back into the running back here. There's still good running back value all the way down. So if one of your guys is there, take him at the wide receiver. I will always take the wide receiver if I value them equally. But your Kendra Love too.
Yeah, no, I'm leaving Kendra alone. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, there's a good shot that Alvin Kamara does get suspended, and if that's the case, it's going to be the Jamal Williams, Kendra Miller show. So I think he will get on the field early, and we'll get to see what he can do early on. But yeah, I'm happy to pass on Kendra. Have lots of Kendra. Week 11 bye. I know Ramondre's are the only other one, so truly it's not that big of a deal. Just kind of hurts the running back position. But let's see where we're at. We are 11 picks away. It has slowed down significantly.
That it has. I would want to see here. I know the Jonathan Mingo hype was pretty significant back right after the rookie draft.
Yeah.
Are you still taking Mingo over Adam Thielen? Because I think I would just lean into the touchdown guy that I project Adam Thielen to be, at least while he's healthy.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line, he's a vet. The good thing about Bryce Young is his accuracy and what he can do. And when you're talking about a guy that is going to know the system, is going to run the right route, no better person to have as your friend than Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen will be where he is supposed to be. He has good hands. He may not separate like he used to, but I think Bryce Young is going to rely on him quite a bit. So I do like that name. And then the touchdowns, as you mentioned, like he's had 10 touchdowns every year for like 4 years or something like that. Like he was just found the end zone.
He's legitimately like 2 years older Mike Evans.
That's it. No kidding. I like that one. Yeah. So I mean, if he can stay healthy, that's going to be great. So yeah, I do like the Adam Thielen here. I think that will actually be my pick here coming up. So after the turn, I mean, it's just looking ADP wise, as I mentioned, it doesn't really matter. Let's take this off. Tight ends, I'm going to pass on tight end.
I'm punting it for a good while here.
I think tight end might be my last round pick. Like I have enough confidence in Evan Ingram, maybe second to last. We'll see how things go. But I'm looking at Adam Thielen. The other name that popped up here is Tyler Algier. I know he's week 11 bye, but he's going to get touches. I don't know what people think is going to happen there, but he's getting touches in Atlanta.
You do also, I know you have Tank Bigsby start as well. That's another Jacksonville asset, so I don't really know if we want to lean in there. I do agree with you that Tyler Algier will get touches. However, I just don't think he ever really holds that much upside, while some of these other guys, like even a Roshan, could take over the backfield. That possibility exists. It does not for Algier outside of injury.
That's fair. And I think that is the big thing. What I don't know is, will they use Algier as a goal line back? I know Bijan is more fudge.
All right, take his replacement and KJO, I guess.
Any reason to take DJ Chark?
I mean, you could. I just think that offense is much more likely to run through Adam Thielen and Jonathan Mingo than it is
Yep,
the
I'm with
number
you.
3 option and DJ Chark.
Pain. But hey, you know what? We got some good backfill wide receivers considering the panic we had. KJ will have weeks, Jacoby will have weeks, and Sky's
You
a
hope.
giant mystery. Yeah, you hope. All right, so we are up, and Roshan got taken off the board. Who was the other guy I was going to mention?
You know, I've got some upside hope for Jerome Ford. I know you don't really share that and
I
think that
don't
they're
believe that
definitely bringing
at
somebody
all.
else in. Tyler Algier won't be fighting with anybody else other than Cordero Patterson for rushes behind Bijan. So I can see it if you want to start out that way.
I don't want to. I don't want to, but I
You could
don't.
lean right back into DJ Chark, but you got 2 seconds.
I need a running back in the worst
I
way.
do think you needed the running back.
That's all right. You know what? Again, I think it's nitpicky. I just still like the team. As I said, I think that this build can work. Do you hate it?
No, I don't hate it. My dog is rolling around behind me asking for pets constantly. I'm trying to keep her from jangling her collar and not have it go over the stream. So
You're good, man. You're good. So just to look ahead here, 167 and then 171, I believe is what it was. So I'm going to be right here in this range for these next few picks. Just kind of starring some players in that range that might fall potentially. I doubt. I mean, again, Isaiah Hodgins is still up here. I don't really see anything else. Renfro, Hubbard, Zeke. Is Zeke
it's the
worth a
land.
dart?
It's the land of old running backs. The Fournettes, the Zekes, and the Kareem Hunts are all out there yet.
Man,
We always backfill with those guys. It always seems to be like our running back 5 is one
I
of those guys.
know. That's why it's like I just God, Leonard Fournette. I mean, there's still
Just
so many.
buried, man.
I mean, do you realistically like? I think that it's the vet mentality. They're going to wait for the opportunity. I think everyone except for Dalvin, like Fournette and Zeke and Hunt, will have to wait for clarity in running back rooms so that they know they're getting touches. I think that's the only way they sign with a team. Am I wrong in thinking that? Do you think that they're going to just accept backup jobs? What's the possibility of them, still being fantasy relevant, like RB2
I
ish?
think there's a good chance that any one of them can probably be what Zeke or Fournette was last year.
Okay.
However, one of them is probably going to be Melvin Gordon of last year and just fall off the face of the earth and never be heard from again.
Yeah, that's a real possibility.
Calculating which one that is right now, I would lean more towards Zeke or Fournette being that than I would like
Yeah.
Dalvin out of the free agents that are out there, or Kareem Hunt maybe being that, and then Fournette and Zeke just being the plotters. But one or two of them will just absolutely crater this next year.
Yeah, they're going to do awful. Someone is. I don't know who. Like you said, I don't know who it is. I'm actually leaning Kareem Hunt. I think Kareem Hunt is going to be the one that just disappears into
He's
the
already
darkness.
kind of starting on that trend.
Yeah, and which is funny because we all had this like high hope for what Kareem Hunt would be post the Nick Chubb backup. Like he had his one good year as a top 12 running back with Nick Chubb. Then he I think he was injured for like 6 games, I believe. So he only played 10 games, and it just didn't look the same. Then last year, just non-existent, really. And it's like, okay, did he lose a step? Did the team just not want to use him in the same ways? And the fact that he hasn't signed starts to make me feel like he's fallen off, and the team knew it, and no one wants to sign him now. So, ugh.
Yeah, he's one. He's the cautionary tale of it. It seemingly has worked out for Alexander Madison right now, but in terms of just like switching it to dynasty context for a little bit here, never bet on the running back 3 years from now to finally take over the role. Never works. I fully still believe that Alexander Madison will have one of these other guys than Dalvin Cook, Zeke, Fournette, or Kareem Hunt brought in behind him.
What's funny though is there's been so many different sell windows for Alexander Madison over his career. And a lot of people held on to him because he usually played for a few games and he played well. And it's like, oh, well, if he ever gets a chance, maybe they're going to cut Dalvin. And it's just never happened. Now he's going to get his chance. But like, he's been good for fantasy, but he hasn't been good in the NFL. Like, I really don't think he's been some sort of guy that's proven himself as a lead running back for a team. So
I would be right there with you in saying that. You know that I've done that through my projections, that he's actually not very efficient in any real metric. So who are you looking at here? Are you looking to get that fifth running back and possibly either Mostert or Zeke, or are you looking to the wide receivers yet?
there's part of me that just wants to take Hodgins right now and just to not get sniped on him, because I know there's a couple running backs here I'm good with. I feel like I have to take Isaiah Hodgins here.
I'd be good with it. I mean, this guy's probably not going to go 8 running backs in this turn.
You want to know something though? I don't want to F around and find out. I've had enough of that happen, and I don't know that he's going to take Raheem Mostert. Oh, he took Donta Foreman. So he has 7, and now he's going to go wide receiver.
That's what I was saying. I don't think he's going up to 8 running backs and taking both of Mostert and Zeke, both of your guys here.
Yep.
And so I'm good with the Hodgins pick of the first turn and take whichever one you get now.
Yeah, I took Kyler. It's not a bad one. I want to look at his team here after this. So I'm going to take Mostert. I think it's just the home run shot. Who knows what's going to happen in Miami? I got zero idea. He's had 900 yards last year. He can hit a homer. So that's what we're going with.
I agree with that one. If you do go with Zeke, I don't know what the Dallas buy is off the top of my head, but I think that's his most likely outcome of his landing spot for Zeke, is just going back to Dallas. And if that is a week 11 buy, you'd have the potential of 3 running backs with a week 11 buys. So I would get the one where I know where Mostert's buy is right now and just bet on that.
This guy in the 1 slot, I actually really like his team. I really do. He started off here with Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray at quarterback, so he's got the backup. Also could be a star. He filled in running back quite well with Cam Akers, DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, Jerick McKinnon, Tank, Roschon, Donta Foreman. So he's got his cluster there, and he actually has some really good wide receivers with Jets. I can't believe it was Calvin Ridley, Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin, J-Mo, and Juju. Like, he's just going to backfill one more wide receiver, is my guess, and then
go with the tight ends to
2 tight ends.
Probably last 2 rounds of tight ends to fill it out.
Yep, interesting. Speaking of tight ends here, let's just see what's available that would be worth drafting. Conklin, Taysom. I mean, shoot, I'll just throw all these guys on the list here. I mean, holy cow.
This is why you can always punt tight end if you want to. There's just so many guys at the back end that are perfectly fine to throw in with a 2 build or a 3 tight end build with your last 3 rounds.
Yeah, and week 9 bye helps out a ton with a lot of these guys here. So I really don't have any crossover that I need to worry about. I think maybe I'll throw Hunter. I don't need any more of that offense.
Give me some Logan Thomas.
Might as well.
Who are they going to roll out? John Bates? Is he finally going to break out after his 4th year?
My only thing is, like, I just don't want to count on Logan. Like, if I had a 3 tight end build for this one, I would probably look to take like one of these other guys and Logan Thomas. I just, with the way this team is built, I kind of feel like I still need something in the running back room, just because Raheem's never really stayed healthy. Dalvin, still a question mark. James Cook, don't know what he's actually going to be. We'll see. We'll see what's actually there.
But I do agree, though, that this is a 2-6-8-2 build.
Yeah. You think I should go wide receiver over running back here?
I think it depends. I'd punt tight end to the 18th. There's plenty here.
Oh yeah, and 18. I'm math hard.
I'd punt tight end to the 18th, and I'd just go whichever running back or wide receiver that is best upon my board at this next pick. You're going to be on the turn again, right? So you're going to be basically picking whichever 2 that you really target out here is your last 2. 1 more running back, 1 more wide receiver.
So Chase Claypool, everyone has heard he is garbage. Even the team is not happy with him. Kareem Hunt. Let's see here. Playoff Lenny's out here. Where did old Playoff Lenny go?
I think he is actually off the board now.
Oh, he just got picked. Picked. It like I saw him. There goes Conklin. Okay. All right. So looking here,
Chase Brown is honestly the running back that I'm actually looking at here. Out of all the ones that you scrolled past, it's just like there's again the kind of nothing else mentality. It's not going to be Chris Evans or Travion Williams. I guarantee that.
Yeah. So I guess, thinking about this though, like, would you rather take the opportunity of a Minnesota actual workload, like running back by committee situation
Well,
where you have Mixon as a workhorse, like because we do have Ty Chandler out here and Dwayne McBride,
Chase
but
Brown's off the board, so that conversation's mute.
nice. All right. Well, solves problems. Jeff Wilson just stack up on.
I would pivot
I'm
away
not.
from that one because you're betting on 3 running backs and 2 of them not the rookie that they drafted
Well,
being
there
the
goes Ty
2
Chandler
that
too.
and then there goes Ty Chandler. So now I'm looking at Pierre Strong.
Just throwing him up there. Oh my gosh. CEH. Like so I'm not going to be very vocal about this, but I have more expectation that Pacheco's not just the guy this year. But
If McKinnon wasn't also back, I would say CH has a role. But I mean, you're here at shot territory. Zamir White is a shot backup as well.
Gus.
Gus is always just going to be a ground and pound guy, so you can do that if you've got some questions about JK yet as well.
Oh, real quick, wide receiver. Any of
Yeah,
these names?
Shakir, Mecole Hardman. Those would be my 2.
Oh, I got week 13. Shoot. Math. Where is Mecole Hardman? Boom.
Week 7. He's gonna be the deep shot guy for Aaron Rodgers. So,
And of course, we got Taysom Hill.
well,
So
that's you're not picking another tight end now. You got Taysom Hill to round out your tight end
I'm
room.
clearly not feeling well.
Internal clock's just a second off.
I mean, his ADP is 170. We got him at 191. Like, whatever. Okay. On the clock here in just a second. That is highly unfortunate, though. Highly.
I'd still go with either. I'd probably lean Mecole Hardman as just a big play shot guy. Tank Dell as well. If you have any hope of him possibly being the one in Houston, would be a nice upside shot. Anybody else here? Hyatt, if you believe he could take over year 1, I don't really think that that's happening. So those would be kind of the guys that I'm looking at. Mecole, Tank Dell.
Hyatt or Mecole? Sorry, a Mecole or Adele?
I'd do Mecole. I don't have hope for Tank, but not with what's already there. With Nico there, with Bobby Tree's still there as well. I don't think that Tank Dell at 5'5" or whatever he is becomes the number 1, even though he's from Houston. He was asked for by CJ Stroud. I don't think that makes him the one in the offense.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would love to see the Tank Dell story work out, but I don't know that he's built for it. So we'll see. Maybe he's more than a gadget guy, but it seems like that's what he's going to be, in my opinion. So we are going to go with the running back position to wrap this up because we do have ourselves a 2-5-8-2. Thankfully, Taysom Hill does not have a week 9 bye, so at least
that's a nice consolation from that.
Yeah, silver linings is what we look for. We got 3 week 13 buys. Again, none of them are our alphas of the team, so hopefully we get the 2 we need. Running back. That's it.
Me here, I'm looking. Truthfully, I'm not really going with the McBride. I'd have CEH over McBride here.
Yeah.
I'm just going with high leverage backups that I think are going to be potentially in the role. So I'm looking at like the Pierre Strongs, the CEHs, the Zamir Whites, potentially if you want to bet on Zach Evans, but they did just bring in Sony, although he's not good either. I do like the Malik Davis one, probably over all of those as it currently stands right now. If you don't think that they're going to bring in anybody, today he's the best one. You just don't know what the long-term outlook of that looks like. Eric Gray does have a potential Saquon holdout in front of him, and he would be potentially the lead back there. So like the Malik Davis, Eric Gray's would probably be the 2 that I'm looking at above all these other guys.
Yeah, Pierre Strong off the board, Gus Edwards off the board. Gosh, there's still part of me that has that weak spot for CEH. I do think Malik Davis, like if no one does get brought in, it's Malik Davis's quote unquote show. Like he's going to have a role. Like he's not going to be the guy, but he's going to have a role in the offense. So
He'll be the 1B to Tony Pollard.
yep, exactly. So which I'm okay with. Like I think that would be fine for someone this late. Pollard health issues, recovering from his injury, should be fine and everything for week 1. But you know, maybe he's a little timid. Who knows?
Unfortunately, he's a week 11 bye. Now, you already have Algier. I don't think you could go Cordero. I think there's a potential that he actually becomes more of a wide receiver with this offense after they bring in Bijan and goes back to that role. But I don't think I'm going to stack it with all of my other week 11 buys and with Algier already on the roster.
Yeah, I'd be really hoping at that point that Dalvin Cook doesn't have a week 11 bye. I mean, yeah. Ugh. Yeah, you're right. All right, so I'm going to leave Clyde up here. Abanikanda I threw up. I do think that they drafted him for a reason. I know Zonovan Knight's shown his ability. Michael Carter's had games, so it is tough to truly pick. So maybe I take him off. Well, there goes Clyde. So no worries there. 6 picks away, 5 picks away from our last one. Your boy Josh Kelly.
Whoa. Just because I have him rostered, I don't know where he got to be my boy.
You own him everywhere.
I mean, because everybody drops him, and he's the running back 2 in the Los Angeles Chargers offense for right now.
It's true. Hey, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. I'm just scrolling through names
just to make sure. Oh, you want that the second best running back in Arizona and Corey Clement? He's definitely not taken anywhere.
Oh my god. I mean, what's crazy to me is you're not wrong, but like the fact that he is the running back 2 in that offense is just
he's not going to be listed like that anywhere. They're going to have Keontae Ingram and then Tyson Williams and then Corey Clement. However, Tyson outside of his what was that preseason game, and then Keontae Ingram was literally one of the worst running backs in the league last year. Corey Clement might actually be the running back 2 there, but I would still lean elsewhere because they are a team that should bring in somebody unless they look like what they're trying to do and lose as many games as actually possible.
Any reason for Jordan Mason, Sean Tucker?
Jordan Mason's just such an injury upside shot for like a week or 2. I would go with somebody. You are. I would go with somebody who has a little bit more upside. Sean Tucker, Malik Davis, Zamir White, then Izzy would probably be my order.
Sean Tucker over
Malik Davis, Sean Tucker, Zamir White, Izzy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Malik. Yeah, I mean, just taking the chance that they don't sign Zeke. It seems like, I don't know, the writing might be on the wall where he is coming back, but truly taking this opportunity to get our 6th running back, dart throw, and just hope and pray. So wrapping the team up here as Mason Q picks here in just a second. Joe Burrow and T-Law.
Beautiful.
A+. Got ourselves Ramondre Stevenson, Dalvin Cook, James Cook, Tyler Algier, Raheem Mostert, and Malik Davis. Not
it's
a
iffy.
home run. Yeah, it's iffy.
Very iffy.
It is.
You're gonna need Dalvin Cook to hit.
For sure. I'm banking on Dalvin Cook to be Dalvin. Like, no doubt about it. Hope and basically banking on James Cook to have a more significant role in year 2. And Algier to not disappear. So lots of hopium in my running back room. I'm going to go with like a C- for that one, maybe a C.
If everything hits right, it's beautiful. Like Malik Davis doesn't have anybody brought in over him. Raheem Mostert's still the one while he's healthy. Algier isn't dust. James Cook gets better. Dalvin Cook lands with a good situation. And we're good. We probably have an A. Everything goes wrong. We probably have a D.
Yeah, we'll go with a solid C then. It was a C, valiant effort. So wide receiver room then ends up Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, Christian Kirk, Jacoby Myers, Sky Moore, KJ Osborne, Isaiah Hodgins, and Mecole Hardman, getting the stack with Burrow. So Jamar Chase there. I do like this. I'm trying to think if it would be better with Kadarius Toney in here, and maybe it would be.
I mean, you're 1-for-1 swapping Sky Moore with Kadarius Toney in my mind. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't look that different. You're just betting on which Kansas City wide receiver actually hits.
I'm going to go with a B for this room. I love Jamar Chase. Still have questions with DK. We still don't know really what Christian Kirk is going. I mean, he had a good year last year, but how will things change with Ridley? Maybe a B plus. I think it's going to be
I'd put
deep.
it to B plus. You're double stacked with Jamar Chase and Christian Kirk. I
Yep.
love the darts that you've got in Sky Moore, KJ Osborne, Isaiah Hodgins, and Mecole as like your big play week over week guys. You've got a good floor with the Christian Kirk and Jacoby Myers. I really like that room.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? Made me feel a little better. So we'll go B plus. And then to to wrap up the tight end room, Evan Ingram stacked with T Law, so another great feeling there. And then Taysom Hill. And
Can we can we see what tight ends are still on the board just to see what we would have taken here?
I really don't want to.
Trey McBride. Okay.
Oh, the pain.
Dude, Trey McBride going undrafted for a team that only has Hollywood Brown, Rondale Moore, Greg Dortch, and Michael Wilson on their roster for all of the receptions that are going to go out as they're trailing in 9 or 18 out of 17 games that they play this year. They're probably going to be trailing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why we put him in the queue earlier. You know, that was a swing and a miss. I actually, let's see if I can pull this back up here. Let's go to drafts completed. Let's check out. I think I've only done 4. Yep, we got to get going on this. Here we have it. Let's see what the full board looks like. Not right now. Thank you though. Grid view. Here we are. I think we can see because we're on the 2. Even better. So Taysom Hill. What did I miss out on over Taysom Hill? I could have had Shakir. Could have had Downs. I mean, the problem is
you would have traded whatever running back you would have picked there, probably.
True.
Like there would have been a running back, and then Trey McBride as the last pick would have been your swap if you had gotten that pick in.
Like honestly, looking at this, I don't know that I would have done.
What is it, Kareem Hunt? Like that's the bet that you're taking over
Hunt,
Malik Davis.
CEH, right? Like truly, it kind of worked out in a way. I mean, Taysom Hill, I feel like he's a guy that's just going to disappear soon. Like he is just a guy that is going to disappear and no longer be an NFL player. I mean, he's 34 years old, I think. He's still playing hybrid fullback, tight end, quarterback. Like he's gonna have a couple games, right? Like he's still gonna some way, somehow they're gonna wildcat him into the end zone or something. So he's gonna have a nice two touchdown game at some point that'll crack my lineup.
Okay, never mind. I almost scoffed whenever you said 34. He will be 33 this year.
33. Okay.
That's wild. Like just imagining him as like they're saying he's going to play more wide receiver, and I'm like imagine a 34-year-old wide receiver that's actually just going out there and it being your wide receiver 3. Like, that sounds insane. But since it's Taysom Hill, it makes total sense for some reason.
So yeah, I don't know. But I feel like he will eventually just disappear off into the night. He could never be heard from again.
He's close to it. The only thing that then gives him a little bit of saving grace is outside of Michael Thomas and Chris Olave.
Yeah.
They have Rashid Shaheed and Traquan Smith, I still believe, is there. Marquez Callaway's gone. So like he could still fill in a little bit as a receiver, but
awful.
Doesn't feel great. Hey, if he still gets his like big play upside shots though, is like playing the gadget quarterback role and gets his like 6-7 touchdowns out of nowhere because he has his scheme fits, whatever.
Yep.
Take him and hope that he hits the lineup on those weeks.
Absolutely agree. So I mean, overall, I would say I'll give that one like an A minus because Evan Ingram is good. I feel like he's going to be very good, and he's stacked then with T Law. So I would say like an A minus, maybe a B plus.
Good B draft all around, B plus draft. Yeah. I really like that draft and how it turned out. You've got to hit on the running back room. I think that's your weakest, and then Evan Ingram's got to be a tight end 1, probably in that like tight end 5 range. But if you do that, it's going to be a good one.
Yep, I'm right there with you. I feel like overall pretty happy. So, any last things before we wrap out of here?
No, I don't got anything else. If you are looking for best ball underdog content, we did just drop a episode on the Overreaction Pod on the Destination Devi Radio Network. So go check that one out for some potential fades or risers that you could take above ADP. And then that goes off of my projections. Obviously, use the code down below to get yourself signed up into Underdog if you have not done that already. Get your deposit match, get into the Destination Devi Discord, which is the best place to be in all of fantasy. Make sure you do all those things. And with that, I don't think we got anything else to plug. Chase, you can wrap us on out of here.
Sounds like a plan. Well, thank you so much for joining us here. Again, please like and subscribe. And if you do want Cody's projections, forgot about that one. If you do want Cody's projections, if you subscribe to the YouTube, if you follow us both on Twitter with both of our handles right here and right there. So make sure you follow us, send a screenshot to one of us, and we'll be able to give you access to Cody's projections that you can actually tailor to your own. But you at least have the template, so you can talk to Cody as well about exactly how to adjust things to make it your own. So make sure you do that. And thank you so much for joining us here in the Fantasy Draft Room.